Who will line up at Anaheim 1 2024 for the all-new Triumph Racing squad? Hey, this is Michael Lindsay, and welcome back to another episode of Rumormill here on Vital MX. And it is brought to you as usual by our friends at Yoshimura R&D of America. Check them out at yoshimurard.com. Yes, we are talking about Triumph Racing and who will potentially be taking those spots for the 2024 season. Yes, we have not seen the bike yet. We have not seen the racing facilities yet, albeit we are getting very close. We're in communication with their PR staff, and there's definitely some very exciting stuff coming in just the next couple months. But until then, we are going to jump a little bit ahead and try to talk about some of the riders that they are looking at, or even the ones we've heard probably already have contracts. As we learned during their launch event late last year, the plan for 2024 is to race 250s in America first, followed by 450s in 2025. And for that 250 program, they would like to have 3 riders for the 24 season. Naturally, our estimate would be somebody of youth or rookie, somebody of promise, and somebody that can win and show that the bike can get it done. They have hired amazing staff. There are great people behind this project. People are very knowledgeable across racing programs. We've seen some of the best have been hired to get this bike to the starting line and make it as competitive as possible. But even with all these great people involved, it's still going to be a tough sell to some riders. They will likely be able to test the bike before they sign. They have a facility now somewhere on the East Coast that they're trying to keep under wraps. However, it's become obvious to most that is outside of their headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, is the old Moto X compound that was owned by Matt Walker. And they are actively testing there. They're testing their production bikes, their race bikes. They have stuff on Supercross. So again, they have the opportunity to get some of these riders that they're trying to sign onto the bike. So starting out with the one that has kind of become the most obvious to us, it was almost even hinted at during the launch event that they did at Angel Stadium late last year. With Bobby Hewitt, Scuba Steve, and some of that crew that's over there, they have riders that they have prior connections with. And we heard a joke or a hint about somebody that was like a second son to them. Well, particularly we know of 250 riders that they have worked with very recently that they would have been very excited to have. That would either be Jalek Swoll or Styles Robertson. Well, Styles can be eliminated from that conversation because he signed a 2-year deal when he went to Star Racing. So this would leave us with pretty much a near confirmation that Jalek Swoll has likely been the first rider signed for one of those 3 spots. Jalek, of course, has taken a professional win in outdoors for the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna program, which was built and created by Bobby Hewitt, and was definitely a rider that was sought out by him and his crew as an amateur that they brought to pro. They believe in him. Jalek's had a rough go the last 2 years, but if anyone can harness the best out of him, it is likely to be Bobby and Scuba. So they're bringing him on board the program. Again, this is not officially announced. As with anything in these Rumor Mill videos, it's stuff that we hear around the pits. It's conversations. It's stuff that's not confirmed, but stuff that's likely enough that it's worth talking about here to you, the viewer. But this is the closest thing we could come up with. Stamp it. We believe that Jalek Swoll will be joining them in the 2024 season and will likely be the first rider announced. The second rider, well, first off, Jalek to us kind of fits, again, the rider with promise. The rider that would fit the rookie role is likely to be Evan Ferry. Evan Ferry has sort of disappeared off the map this last year after parting ways with the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna program after Bobby and Scuba left. He's been kind of floating between the NSA Yamaha team, riding his own bikes. He showed up at one of the Supercross Futures rounds this year on an all-black Yamaha with no OEM association on it. It's a Yamaha, though. Just to get some time in, work on his Supercross license points, things of that nature. But from everything we've heard, and part of probably why he's been keeping such a low profile, is that he has been contracted and picked up by Triumph Racing for 2024. Again, no official announcement. We're pretty close to saying stamp this one. So that's 2 of the 3 spots. Now the third and final one, again, we would lean towards them wanting somebody that can win. And they've been pretty open that they would like to have somebody that shows the true capability of the bikes, somebody they know that has won on other platforms and can continue to show them that this bike is capable of that and help them learn and grow. So of a winning capable rider, who is available? Well, if you checked out last week's Rumor Mill, you know we were talking about the potential options for Levi Kitchen. While we didn't mention Triumph Racing in that conversation, we're sure they've probably reached out to him at some point. He is somebody that could be in that conversation. Somebody else who is looking in the 250 class or is at least hunted around a little bit is Joe Shimoda, potentially, especially if they're looking for a guaranteed 450 deal. Austin Faulkner would be another interesting one. His deal is currently up, albeit we've heard a little bit of interest with Faulkner from the TLD team, and the Monster Energy Pro Circuit would like to re-sign him. Austin Faulkner also does have ties to some of the upper management there that have prior managed his career. So there are connections there. Definitely somebody we lean towards maybe a little bit stronger connection or possibility of. Another potential 250 rider is RJ Hampshire, albeit he does have a current offer from the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna team for another multi-year 250 deal with a 450 option. Triumph could offer him a guaranteed path to 450 in 25 or 26. And maybe that would be enough to get him to also reunite with Scuba and Bobby. But one rider in particular that has kind of piqued our interest recently that we think is one of the more likely situations for them could be Michael Mosiman. Mosiman is not having a great go this year with the TLD group. He was originally with Bobby's group, kind of got bumped over there. We don't know really what the future holds. We're starting to lean towards he would likely be out of TLD Gas at the end of this year. It's not confirmed. They haven't signed another rider, but there are other conversations going on. And again, Mosiman, like the other two riders that we've mentioned that are close to being confirmed, your Swole and your Ferry, they were Bobby and Scuba guys. These were guys that were hired at Rockstar Husky on mini bikes. Ferry never got to go pro for them, but Swole did. Mosiman was with them for a long time, though. He was on a super mini with them back when they were Rockstar Suzuki. So the ties go deep with that group. Mosiman is clearly one of the best in Supercross, one of the guys that can win on any given night, and he really fits the bill of somebody that can prove that the equipment is good enough to put on the top step of the podium if it is that good. And again, because of those past connections, it would really bring them a trio of people together that they have all believed in at one point or another in their career. So again, it doesn't sound like the third and final spot is as guaranteed as the first two we mentioned, but if we were betting people, like I said, a little bit of interest from maybe a Faulkner or an RJ, but we're starting to lean towards Mosiman as maybe the more likely of the scenario that's available. And of course, there are other 250 riders that could become available. Max Volan is one as such. There are other 250 riders available, Jet Reynolds, people that are going to be looking for rides. But again, we think that Mosiman just kind of ticks all the boxes at this point and would potentially work out. So it's a fun little dive into some of the 250 class and some of what we could see happening at Triumph or what we believe is happening. If you like these rumor mills, give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more. And make sure you go check out vitalmx.com.